Okay, let's see if I can try this again. I have not done a live in some time and really just wanted to come on here because right now I'm absolutely furious. You probably can't tell, um, but most of you who follow me and who are friends of ours know that my husband and I and our daughters were fighting a fight. My husband is fighting a fight. He has stage 4 brain cancer, and what he has is called glioblastoma multiforme, GBM for short, and it is the most deadliest and rarest of brain cancers that are out there, and there is no cure. So, what I'm coming to you on, and I think I titled this about Jello because a lot of the research that I have found so far is our brain, once the outside saran wrap is taken off, our brain is like Jello. Imagine a Jello mold, and then picture in that Jello mold some strawberries or grapes that are in the Jello, and you see that it's transparent. You see that kind of thing, and you can go in and you can remove that strawberry. And so, analogy of the brain tumor. Well, with this type of brain tumor, glioblastoma, there are what they call fingerlings. I'm sure there's other words for it that the surgeons and doctors would say, but they're like little things that latch on and they continue to crawl through the brain itself. And again, there's really nothing to stop it other than standard, which has been going on for years, 14, 15 years, and that is chemotherapy and radiation. Chemotherapy and radiation. My husband is on 5 days radiation, and every day he has chemotherapy. The only side effect that he's really discovering right now is heartburn as well as fatigue. So I'm actually wanting to share with you another thing that I have learned, that my husband we had COVID. We had COVID back in November 19th. And that was after Johnny was discharged from the hospital. It was crazy because we wanted to start radiation and the therapy. And what we call this is maintenance. It's actually a maintenance therapy because, again, there's no cure for this. So we were supposed to start radiation and we couldn't because I was positive for COVID and it was horrible, let me tell you. And then Johnny had to quarantine, and before they could actually get him started on the therapy, so the chemo and the radiation. So he started that in December, the first week in December, the radiation. Since then, the machine, we have been told, has broke down. A radiation machine is not working. And just let that simmer with you for a minute. A radiation machine is not working, and you have to be turned away because you cannot have radiation that day. This has happened, I believe, 3 times so far in my husband's treatment plan. And it's nothing personal with the people. The people there they're wonderful. I love our team. The medical team is amazing. The surgeon is amazing. Dr. Singleton, he was fantastic. So when asked, people ask me about the tumor, and is the tumor, well, didn't they remove the tumor? Well, again, going back to when I started talking to you, is the tumor, I asked Dr. Singleton, was the tumor removed? And he said it was what I could see was removed. So to be told now, another time this morning when we went there for his radiation, to be told that the machine is down. Johnny turns off his phone, so we didn't get the call ahead of time to not go in. But to be told that the machine is down, you have to go. And I said, well, listen, We got to go to the VA. We have to pick up the chemotherapy medication. So we'll hitch on the way back. Maybe it'll be up then. And by the time we left and, got coffee, and Johnny was tired, and he was like, let's just go home. So we came home, and we got a phone call from the radiation, and they said, we're sorry, but the machine is not back up yet. And we're like, okay. Then just an hour ago, we received a phone call at 6 something saying to please call tomorrow morning before arriving to make sure that the radiation machine is working. I am pissed. I am so angry. I'm hurt. I am like, how does this happen? I understand that things are man-made and things break down. I get it. But there has got to be some sort of fucking backup. This is ridiculous. You're playing with lives. You're playing with people's hope for survival. I mean, I guess there's more than just one machine, but the one that my husband goes in is the one that's broke. How does this happen over a period, a repetition? How can this be so consistently breaking down like this? And I'm just mad. I'm so mad. I'm mad. I'm hurt. I want to cry. I want to take out everything that I can on somebody, something, because this just isn't right. A hospital, a cancer institute should have some sort of backup. How does this happen? So I asked, I was like, nothing personal with you on the phone. I said, but who do I write to? Who on the board there do I write to? And her name is Emma. So I'm going to look up that information and I'm going to write her. Things like this should not happen. Somebody has a terminal brain tumor or something wrong with them and the machine is broke. Does that make any sense to anybody on here? Is it just me? That's not supposed to happen over a period of time. If it's one time, I get it. Then come up with a backup plan. Let alone, majority of us know a lot about breast cancer. Majority of people that you hear that have cancer, that survive a long period of time, they're able to go to Congress. They're able to go to their states and be able to fight for certain things. And glioblastoma being told, and the research I found, being the most malignant, deadliest brain tumor there is with no cure. I've never heard of it before, other than watching Collateral Beauty. If any of you watched that movie, Collateral Beauty, that was, I think, the only time I ever heard the word glioblastoma, brain tumor, GBM for short. So I will make it my mission. For starters, we got to find out what the hell's up with not having a backup machine for a patient to not be able to get radiation. That's number one. Number two is Johnny wants to start a foundation to help individuals with the research for this, but then also to start something with scholarships. We don't know how this is going to play out. This is, in the future, but do scholarships for children who have parents who end up passing from something like this, or for families to be able to benefit somehow, some way. So But all of you watching, I'm so appreciative for you. I just love you guys. The support that you've given me and my family is so, I'm just blown away by it, by all the help. You know, Johnny is so grateful. He's a proud man. What man isn't, right? So we are so grateful for my niece who has loaned me her truck to be able to use until I get a vehicle somehow, some way. You know, that truck was Johnny's baby. He loved it. But unfortunately, you know. Oh yeah, let me tell you too. Today, those of you who have been following me, today is actually the 2-month anniversary from when Johnny was diagnosed with glioblastoma. So if you've been looking at information on glioblastoma, you know where I'm coming from on this. So 2 months ago, Saturday, September 7th, I was in Powhatan Park with Jessica Miles, with Amanda, with Casey, the children, and we were doing a walk for clean water filtration systems for families in Haiti. And it was that morning at 9:38 that I received a phone call, and I had him on speaker. And it was funny because Johnny, now listen to this, because these are side effects. These are things that you can pick up on of something going wrong. They went ahead and Johnny was on there, and I was like, hey, how are you? You know, we're walking in the woods on this walk. And he's like, hey, I don't feel so good. You know, I can't help Christina. And that's how he was talking. It was like monotone the whole way. He's like, I think I need to go home. And I was like, hey, where are you? Where are you? And he's like, you know, I don't feel good. I'm going to go. I said, where are you? Normally he would say, and excuse me, anyway, he would say, shut the fuck up, give me a minute, and let me tell you where I am. If you just shut up a minute. And he didn't do any of that. The girls told me I should probably leave. And Amanda and Jessica, if you're watching, you know, thanks so much for just, you know, we didn't know, guys. We didn't know what was going on. Just felt he wasn't feeling good. So he hangs up. I tell him to call me when he gets home. And he didn't call me when he got home, but then again, we were in the middle of the woods talking, and you know, time got away with us. I get home around noon, and the truck isn't here, and I got this horrible feeling inside, and I called his cell phone, and the nurse in the emergency room answered the cell phone, and she said, oh, Mrs. Wyatt, I need to put you through to the ER doctor. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? And so the ER doctor comes on, and the first thing he said to me was, can you tell me some history about your husband? Medical history. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he's like, well, your husband's been in an accident. Is he a drinker? And I was like, hell no. My husband's been sober for 30 years. I was like, where are you? And he told me, you know, Johnston Willis. So I went ahead and I put the phone down. I literally really hung up on the doctor that I was on the phone with, and I got in the car and I raced to the hospital. And Johnny had suffered a seizure behind the wheel. And that was when the ugly tumor showed its ugly self, because it caused Johnny to have the seizure, which caused him to wreck the truck. And when he was in the hospital, he had actually, from then to the hospital and in the ER, he had a total of 3 seizures. And I have to say, the truck itself really saved Johnny, because, and it's only pure luck, faith, that there was no loggers coming down that road that morning at 9:30, or cars where he swerved over from the slow lane to the fast lane. because if he did that and there were cars coming, he either would have hit somebody or somebody would have sideswiped him. But that didn't happen. So we're in the ER. He has a seizure while I'm there. They admit him. That was on November 7th, Saturday. And then on November 11th, they went ahead on my birthday. They did a craniotomy and removed what he could see. Dr. Singleton removed what he could see of the tumor. Johnny was released on the 13th, 14th. Real simple. It's amazing. You would think that somebody having brain surgery and their skull cut, that they'd hurt and stuff. That didn't even bother him. What really was bothering him was his arm. But anyway, so we get home and, Thanksgiving comes and then December 5th, the morning of December 5th, and he started on the protocol with the chemotherapy. We quarantined at the house because of COVID and had to make sure the 14 days were up and not talking or touching anybody or whatever. I was downstairs. Johnny was upstairs. It was crazy. It was really crazy. And that was that we had to wait for them to do the chemo and the radiation at that time when all of that had passed. So December 5th comes around. Brittany spends the night and Derek and Johnny, I thought, was hurting. His arm was hurting him. And it was around 2:30 in the morning, and I roll over, and Johnny's having a seizure. And so Brittany, I go downstairs to wake her up, and we go upstairs, and we see we see Johnny, and he's having a seizure, and then he wakes up from it, and he gets up, and he starts storming at us. You could tell he couldn't speak. He couldn't speak right. You could tell he was trying to speak, but he could not speak. And eventually, Brittany was saying, "Daddy, Daddy, get back in bed. Daddy, Daddy, get back in bed." And it's like a light bulb went off, and he put his head down, and he turned around and he went right back to the bed, and he fell into the bed. And when he fell into the bed, I thought he went right back to sleep. He started seizing again. I'm screaming bloody murder. It felt like forever for the rescue squad to get here. It took 19 minutes. I'm screaming. Brittany's getting mad at me. I'm trying to hold my cool. It was just crazy. And this was, at that time, it had to have been around 3:15, 3:20 maybe. And so the police come and the rescue squad comes. They're all in the bedroom with him, and he's still having a seizure. And it was rough. So we end up going to the ICU. There was a storm that night. Nothing happens as fast as you want it to, right? But it did take 19 minutes for that rescue squad to get here, and I swear it felt like an hour. It was horrible. And so we get there, and we're in the ER, and he had to be COVID tested again before they would allow him back up to the ICU. And as we're there, I'm trying to sleep a little when he's sleeping, but then he started having a seizure again in the ER. And I'm screaming, is somebody going to help us? And a nurse came in, and he started rubbing his back and telling Johnny I'm like, how come this is still happening? And I would look up, or the doctor said, I'm looking at his oxygen levels, and he's going to be fine. And so he's like, but Johnny has to get through it. He's got to get through the seizure. But his oxygen levels and everything looks okay. So we're going to get him through it. So as soon as he stopped, he looked up at Johnny like wide awake. And he looked up at, not at Johnny, he looked up at the nurse. And he was like, phew. And he grabbed the man's hand, and the nurse said, "Brother, we got you. You're going to be okay." So Johnny was COVID tested, came back negative. That was December 5th. And he ended up going up to ICU again. But it actually wasn't ICU at first. It was another ICU, regular ICU, before they moved him to the neuro ICU, because I guess just the place was packed. So since then, they tweaked Johnny's seizure medication, and he seems to be doing well. He's doing Vimpat as well as Keppra. And as for the chemotherapy, he's doing Temodar. And he seems to be doing okay. He's getting tired. He's on a steroid. The steroid, he would eat the leg off a table if he could. It's a journey. It's definitely a journey. But to tie this all back into the beginning of why I did this video was because nobody should have to worry if the radiation machine is going to break. There should be a backup plan. Not be told that the radiation machine is broke, that you can't be seen that day for your treatment. It's just wrong. So I don't know what to really do other than let my voice be heard and let people know. And maybe reach out to the board of directors at the hospital. I don't know. But I'm going to do what I can, because nobody should have to feel the emotions that I feel right now because of the machine. So Johnny takes things with a grain of salt now. Things are like so different. With this type of tumor, it affects it's in the left temporal lobe. So it affects his personality. At first he was very angry at first, but now he's just, we enjoy the moments that we have, and we're trying to find the beauty in everything around us, or at least I am. So I want to tell you guys, thanks so much for watching. This was really a diary of our story right now, and we just want other people to know that, be aware of your personality changes. Be aware of, your headaches. And, if it's something that, if you have a loved one that just has a personality issue that you're like, why are they so angry all of a sudden? This past year, he's been like a freaking asshole. You need to write this shit down. And it's not like we go to the doctor and say, hey, can you do an MRI? I have these migraines and my personality is changing. Something's got to be done. So thanks so much for watching. And this was a long one. And wish me luck on finding a way to get this radiation machine fixed and not letting this happen to other people. So bye. Thanks.